Imagine buzzing around all day collecting sweet nectar from flowers. That's what a bee does every day. It's a simple yet vital routine that begins with the break of dawn. As the first rays of sunlight peek over the horizon, our tiny friend stirs from its rest. The bee, as part of a large, bustling hive, knows it has a big job to do. The bee's mission? To collect nectar, a sweet, sticky substance found deep within flowers. But this isn't just about satisfying a sweet tooth. You see, bees play an essential role in the circle of life, one that extends far beyond their hive. As they flit from flower to flower, they inadvertently collect pollen on their fuzzy bodies. This pollen gets transferred from one bloom to another, a process we call pollination. But let's not get too far ahead. Once our bee friend has filled its honey stomach to the brim with nectar, it's time to head back to the hive. The hive, a marvel of natural architecture, is abuzz with activity. Here, worker bees take over, processing the nectar by adding enzymes and reducing its water content. Now, you might wonder, how do they do that? Well, it's quite a fascinating process, really. The bees regurgitate the nectar and pass it back and forth between their honey stomachs, breaking down complex sugars into simpler ones. This makes the nectar easier to digest and also preserves it, preventing it from spoiling. The bees then store the processed nectar in honeycomb cells, where it eventually ripens into the honey we know and love. After a busy day of nectar collection, pollination, and honey production, our bee friend is ready to call it a day. The bee, like us after a long day's work, needs rest too. So as the sun dips below the horizon and the hive quiets down for the night, our tiny hero tucks in, ready to recharge for another day of hard work. After a long day, the bee returns to its hive, ready to rest and prepare for another busy day. Bees aren't the only creatures in the garden. They have friends too. Picture this, a lush, verdant garden bustling with life. The bees are busy buzzing and dancing from flower to flower, but they're not alone. They share this vibrant world with a multitude of other critters, each with their own tale to tell. Take butterflies, for instance. These graceful creatures flit around the garden, their colorful wings catching the sunlight. They're like the garden's resident artists, painting the air with their swoops and dives. But their beauty isn't just for show. Butterflies help pollinate flowers too, just like bees. They flutter from bloom to bloom, sipping nectar, and in the process, spreading pollen. Then, there are the ladybugs, the garden's little soldiers. Sporting a bright red armor dotted with black spots, these tiny warriors are always on the lookout for harmful pests. They keep the garden safe, ensuring that the bees and butterflies can go about their work without any trouble. And who can forget the birds? With their melodic songs, they fill the garden with music. More than just performers, birds play an essential part in the garden's life cycle. They feast on pesky insects that can harm plants and help in seed dispersal, ensuring that new plants grow in the garden. But it's not just about what each creature does, it's about how they all live together, each contributing in their own unique way. The bees, butterflies, ladybugs, and birds coexist in harmony, forming a circle of life that keeps the garden flourishing. It's a delicate balance, a dance of nature where each player knows their part and performs it to perfection. So you see, every creature, big or small, has a role to play in the garden. Just like in a symphony, each instrument is vital to the music. And in the grand orchestra of the garden, the bees, their friends, and all the other creatures together compose a melody that is truly the song of life. Did you know bees have their own special dance? It's called the waggle dance. Now you might be wondering, what could possibly be so interesting about a bee dance? Well, let me tell you, it's nothing short of amazing. This isn't just a simple shimmy or shake. No. The waggle dance is a unique form of communication bees use to share precious information with their hive mates. If a bee finds a field full of sweet nectar or a tree blooming with pollen, it doesn't keep the good news to itself. It hurries back to the hive and performs this intricate dance to tell the others exactly where to go to find the best flowers. Imagine trying to give someone directions without words, just by moving your body. Sounds tricky, right? But bees, they've got this down to an art. They wiggle and waggle in a specific pattern, kind of like drawing an invisible map in the air. The direction of the dance shows which way to fly, and the duration of the waggle tells how far to go. And the most extraordinary part? The other bees understand this dance. They watch attentively, then fly off in the right direction, straight to the flower buffet. It's a beautiful example of teamwork in the animal kingdom. Isn't it fascinating how bees can communicate with each other through dance? Now let's see what happens when it's time to collect the honey from the hive. And when the time is ripe, the beekeeper gears up in a special suit. It's not the latest fashion trend, but it's the bee's knees when it comes to safety. This suit is designed to protect the beekeeper from stings while they're busy with the harvest. It's a bit like a knight's armor, but instead of fighting dragons, our brave beekeeper is entering the buzzing world of the bees. The beekeeper then carefully removes the frames from the hive. These frames are filled with honeycomb, which is where the bees store their honey. The honey is hidden inside the wax cells of the honeycomb, a bit like treasure in a chest. Next, the beekeeper uses an uncapping fork to open up these cells, revealing the golden honey inside. It's a delicate process, almost like unwrapping a gift. Now, it's time for the honey extractor. This clever machine uses centrifugal force to spin the honey out of the honeycomb. It's like a merry-go-round for honey. But we're not done yet. The honey is then filtered to remove any bits of wax or other impurities. This leaves us with pure, golden honey. Finally, the honey is poured into jars, ready to be enjoyed. It's a journey from hive to jar, all thanks to the hard work of our bees and the careful hands of the beekeeper. Oh, and that's how we get the sweet, golden honey we all love. After a long season of hard work, it's time for the bees to celebrate. And celebrate they do, in their own buzzing, whirling, twirling style. Picture this, a hive full of bees, each one buzzing as loud as they can, their wings fluttering in rhythm. It's a dance party unlike anything you've ever seen. In the heart of the hive, the bees are jiving and diving, twirling around each other in their jubilation. It's a dance-off, bee style. The air is filled with their harmonious humming, a melody that sings of their joy and accomplishment. Their song tells the tale of a successful harvest, a season of hard work, and the sweet reward of honey. It's a song of unity, perseverance, and the joy of a job well done. And as the sun sets, the bees buzz happily in their hive, ready for another day of adventure. Remember, every creature has a story, and today we heard the bee's tale.